Hello, this is part 3 of 3.2 linear equations in one variable. Today we're going to be solving general linear equations, so that means more complicated equations with parentheses, combining like terms, and having variables and constants on both sides. I stole this little chart from OpenStax Elementary Algebra 2nd edition textbook, and it gives you a general strategy for solving linear equations. Simplify each side of the equation as much as possible by using the distributive property and combining like terms. Get all the variable terms on the same side of the equation using addition or subtraction property, and then get all the constant terms on the other side of the equation, again using the addition or subtraction property. Make the coefficient of the variable term equal to 1 by using the multiplication or division property, and then you get the solution. Then it's always a good idea. I haven't been doing it in the notes up to this point though, but you should check your solution by substituting it back into the original equation to make sure it gives you a true statement. Now, this is kind of the cookie cutter way of solving equations, and sometimes there's more elegant or quicker ways of solving the equation, which I will take advantage of in the notes. But if you're completely stumped, having this to look back at is helpful. Okay, let's jump into the examples. So, negative 6 times the quantity x plus 3 equals 24. Now, already I am going to jump away from it because I'm not going to distribute the negative 6. We could distribute the negative 6, that would be okay. But what I'm going to do instead is divide by negative 6 on both sides of the equation. And the reasoning to do that is the negative 6 will cancel on the left-hand side, leaving us with x plus 3. And actually the parentheses aren't needed anymore because there is no number outside of them. And then 24 divided by negative 6 is negative 4. And then I just need to subtract 3 to solve for x. So x equals negative 7. And just to give you an idea of how to check your solution in case you're a little rusty on it, take this negative 7, plug it back into the original equation. So negative 6, negative 7 plus 3, does that equal, which I indicate with a question mark over the equal, 24. I'll do inside the parentheses first. Negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4. Does this equal 24? Negative 6 times negative 4 is 24, and that does equal 24. So that means negative 7 is our answer. Okay, B. Well, we do have this negative sign, which remember, that means negative 1. We, again, could distribute if we wanted to, but instead, I'm going to divide by negative 1. So here, the negative 1's cancel out, leaving us with y plus 9. 8 divided by negative 1 is negative 8. Subtract 9, y equals negative 17. Okay, example C. Now we have 2 times the quantity m minus 4 plus 3 equals negative 1. Because of the plus 3 here, I'm not going to divide by 2. In this situation, when the parentheses aren't by themselves, it is easier to use the distributive property. So 2m minus 8. The 3 is outside the parentheses, so I do not distribute. So plus 3 equals negative 1. Combine like terms, we get 2m minus 5 equals negative 1. add 5 to both sides. The -5 and +5 cancel out. We get 2m equals 4. Divide by 2 on both sides. The 2's cancel out. And we're left with m equals 2. And again, if you wanted to, you could go back and check your work. Okay, so I have this 2/3 times 6m minus 3 equals 8 minus m. Here, even though the parentheses are by themselves, because this is a fraction, again, I'm not going to divide by 2/3 like I did in example A and B. In A and B, they weren't fractions though. Here I am going to distribute. So we get 2/3 times 6m and 2/3 times -3. So 2/3 times 6m, I'm going to do a little scratch work off to the side. 2/3 times 6m over 1. Well, the 3 will reduce the 6 to a 2. And then we're really just left with 2 times 2m, which is 4m. Similarly, when we do 2/3 times 3 and then over 1, the 3's reduce and we're left with just 2. But don't forget the negative sign right here. So that'll be minus 2 equals 8 minus m. Next, I want to get the variables on one side. So I'm going to add m to both sides. 4m plus m is 5m. Minus 2 equals 8 because the negative m and positive m cancel out. Then I want to get the constants together. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. The -2 and +2 cancel out, leaving us with 5m equals 10. And last but not least, divide by 5. The 5's cancel out, leaving us with m equals 2. So we get the same answer as we did in C. How many more examples? 3 more. Okay. This video is a little bit longer than my other one, so I do apologize. I do try to keep them less than 10 minutes. So let's see if I can do that for this one. Here, I'm not going to divide by 2 because the parentheses are not by themselves. So instead, I'm going to distribute. Notice I cannot do 8 minus 2 equals 6. We can't do that because this is multiplication. Multiplication comes before subtraction. So because of that, I have to do the multiplication, which means distribute. But don't forget, we're technically distributing the negative sign with it too. So -2 times 3y and -2 times 5. So the 8 doesn't change. -2 times 3y is -6y. -2 times 5 is -10 equals 0. Now we do have like terms. 8 minus 10. 8 minus 10 is -2. Then we have the -6y equals 0. Add 2 to both sides. -2 and 2 cancel out. Get -6y equals 2. Divide by -6. Divide by -6. The 6's cancel out. We get y equals. And then we can reduce that by 2, so we get -1/3. So the answer to E is -1/3. This one does look quite a bit more complicated, but you just have to take your time, take a deep breath, and do it step by step. Now, the first thing I notice is we have this set of parentheses inside another set of parentheses. So that means that's where we should start. So, and again, it's a negative 2. So negative 2 times 7y, negative 14y. Negative 2 times negative 1, positive 2. Then we still have the 4, parentheses, 6 equals 8, 13 minus 8y. So now there are no more parentheses inside another set of parentheses. So then I'm going to do this distributive property on the left and right hand side. So 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times negative 14y. I can't do that in my head. So let me just go over here. 14 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 2 is 8. So we get negative 84y. And 6 times 2 is 12. And then I can distribute the 8 here as well. So 8 times 13. So again, I can't do that in my head. So I'll do that off to the side here. 8 times 3 is 24. Carry the 2. 8 times 1 plus 2 is 10. So we get 104. And then 8 times negative 8y is negative 64y. Okay. Now when I'm looking here, I see that I have like terms on the left-hand side. So 24 plus 12, which is 36. Then minus 84y equals 104 minus 64y. Whew. So that simplification process took us a few steps. But now we're on to step 2. Get the variables on both sides. So I'm going to add 64y to both sides. Negative 84 plus 64 is negative 20y. The 64's cancel out, and we're left with 104. Subtract 36. Subtract 36. Get negative 20y equals, I need to borrow 1, 868. And then divide by negative 20. Divide by negative 20. So y equals, I can reduce by 2 at least. So 2 goes in 68 34 times. 2 goes in 20 10 times. And a positive divided by a negative is negative. Oh, I notice they're both even still, so I can divide by 2 again. So we get negative 17 over 5. That can't be reduced any further. So y equals negative 17 fifths is our final answer. Then our last example for these notes. Now, just like with fractions, whenever I have parentheses with decimals, I do recommend distributing first. So 0.36 times 100n is 36n. 0.36 times 5. So let me do that off to the side. 0.36 times 5. 5 times 6 is 30. Carry the 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 3 is 18. And because of the 2 decimal places, I'll get 2 decimal places in my answer. So 1.80. Or just 1.8. Equals. And then I have 0.6 times 30. Now here, because the 30 ends in a 0, I can cancel the 0 out and make that a 6. So then it becomes 6 times 3, which is 18n. But then I have 0.6 times 15. So 15 times 0.6. 6 times 5 is 30. Carry the 3. 6 times 1 plus 3 is 9. There's one decimal place, so that'll be 9.0 or plus 9. Now this is going to be an instance where I am not going to clear the decimals. I'm going to leave the decimal and just continue working. So subtract 18n from both sides. The 18n's cancel on the left-hand side, leaving us with 36 minus 18 is 18n, plus 1.8 equals 9. Subtract 1.8, subtract 1.8, so make that 0.0. The 1.8's cancel out. We're left with 18n on the left-hand side. And then after some borrowing, we get 7.2 on the right-hand side. And divide by 18, divide by 18. So n equals. Now here, I'm going to think of that as 72 for a little bit, because I know 9 goes into 72, and 9 goes into 18 as well. Well, 72 divided by 9 is 0.8. 18 divided by 9 is 2. So we get n equals, well, 0.8 divided by 2 is 0.4. And that's it for part 3 of the note.